Freestyle Black History Month.
Okay, I'm back now. Hello, technical difficulty. Trying to set this thing up. Okay.
Okay.
Trying to see what we got going on. Had some technical difficulty.
Trying to see what we got going on. Had some technical difficulty.
It is
Trying to see
par
what
for
we
the
got going
course.
on. Had some technical difficulty. It is par for the course.
I see one person that was waiting.
I see one person that was waiting.
I don't want to be dealing with a lot of trolls though.
I don't want to be dealing with a lot of trolls.
And I hope if people got something to say, they'll say it, and we can get going with the show.
I hope people got something to say, they'll say it, and we can get going with the show.
And let me see if I can get this thing set properly.
And let me see if I can get this thing set properly.
I know that if you have any kind of miscues, it was quite heavy tonight.
I know that if you have any kind of miscues, it was quite heavy tonight.
Yeah, it was something going on. Okay, good to see you, Gore Smith. All right, I got you now. Yeah, there was something going on.
Yeah, it was something going on.
Something with a little satellite ish. So, what's up? I'm back now. I'm good for 1 hour. I'm gonna do 1 hour tonight since I had a little issue. Tomorrow, I'll go back to my usual 2 plus, but I'll do one tonight. So we'll make it 1 hour, God willing, as long as there ain't no problems. Yeah, there's a little something with the satellite. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, Gore, you said something before I left. I think it was sports related. I know we had tapped about it yesterday, and I just wanted to like kind of reiterate. What's up, Ted? If I see any trolls, I'm gonna load them. I was actually thinking about. I was trying to still figure out my Patreon, but I can't have nobody over Patreon if I don't have all these problems with these YouTube hacks. Because some of that stuff just be too much, and I don't want to be going through all that. But anyway, let's get into conversation. No, he didn't. Where'd you get that lie from? He left before they got great. He played 78 and 79. They went to the Super Bowl 81, 82, but they weren't there yet. Montana was about, yeah. Oh, yeah, how you doing? All right, cool. Well, I think last night I liked the conversation so much because I was kind of hoping that you had something to say. Now, he was actually about a year and a half behind when Montana and Walsh got it together with the 49ers. I think Steve DeBerg was the quarterback. I forgot, but they were just a average team at the time before Walsh took over and Montana came on board. Because he left before Montana got there. He was out of there. Which one was that about Russell? That's a way back. I haven't done anything recently about Russell. I think the elder did something about Russell, but which one was that one I did on Russell? Remind me. I need to be reminded on that one because it's been a minute since I've done Russell. Yeah, I'm going to do that though. Thank you though, because I was wondering about. Thank you. I wonder what the elder was talking about. Um, yeah. Let me do that one tomorrow. Thank you. He's tripping. I'm gonna do my own video, but thank you for because that's gonna. Don't do fish or eggs. Well, eggs was like an option, but no fish, nothing like that, unless it's vegetarian fish. Yes, I've long ago retired. Been vegetarian for 3 plus years. I went again on again. In the 90s, it wasn't much to select, and I went back and forth the last 20, but now I'm firmly, that will never be. Don't go out to eat and keep my food simple. Well, yeah, and I'm going to address that. I'm proud of the elder. I have to check out what Russell is saying. I know he a crackhead now, if that's what he's saying. Don't get it. I'll say this in his defense. He was the first one to win a Super Bowl since Doug Williams. So if he's coming out in a modern context, I will say two things in his favor. Two things. He won it in a modern context. He was the first one since Steve McNair to lead a team where he was going to be the starter because Doug got unceremoniously thrown off of Washington after he won. So, and if we're talking about that, but let's put in perspective, shall we? Let's put this in perspective. He wasn't the reason that was front in Seattle. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's earned his stats and all that. However, let's not act like that Legion of Boom wasn't the reason why he was there. He was probably, to be honest with you, depending on who you talk to, he was seen as a better version of Brad Johnson, a guy that was under him who was guiding a team. You know, so he's a bit. He wasn't even really, to be honest with you. Yeah, I agree too. He wasn't even really in the same capacity as Kaepernick, if you want to be technical about it. But you see, I know what he's trying to do. He wants to seem like he was a forerunner to Mahomes, light skinned brothers, and all that. There's some similarity, but there's not enough similarity. Had he beaten Brady and the Patriots, he probably would have been seen as a top 10 quarterback. I think that would have done wonders for his reputation. I do. But Pete Christmas Carol and that whole thing, we'll never know. But it depends on what he trying to say, you know. Because he did play with one of the greatest defenses in the last 25 years. I mean, that's just saying. And when they got older and crusty against that game against Minnesota and whatnot, he did come through. But without Marshawn, he wasn't much of a factor. Without his center, he wasn't much of a factor. When they traded for Johnny Graham, so I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. Make it make sense, Russell. Please do. I got some takes on it though. Of course I did. I hate to say it like that, but if I go live and if I'm like all up in here and I'm on the internet, of course I'm gonna hear about OJ. I was around when the verdicts went down. I was very much alive with OJ Simpson's career. Well, I didn't catch the prime of him as a running back because I was too young at the time. But well, I work at it as a craft. I don't look at it for anything else. I'm just a student. I learn and I just do things. I'm not trying to be all perfectionist. I'm just a human being at the end of the day. Ain't gonna be no cuts and slides and all that. I am what I am. Some people like it, some don't. People know I don't make a big deal. I do think I have intelligence and I'm entertaining and I have some charisma, but I don't go around making no big deal about stuff. You know, I feel very rewarded because I'm only as good as with the people that come through and ask the questions and show me support and the love. Then I don't go around tooting my horn. Yes, I think some of myself, but I don't go around in no big delusion. I take the highs and the lows and I come what they come. But if people come up, we ask questions, we connect. That's it. I keep it laid back. In my past life, and I don't really go into personal, but yeah, in my past life. Yeah. A grown daughter. That's a lifetime ago. And I'm respectful about people's privacy and stuff because there's a lot of, you know, people have a life, and sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. So no, I come from a different era where you just do your stuff. That's all. My creativity is something that pours out of me. It's not no brag. It's like I drink water, and I just flow with thoughts and ideas. you know, I don't get into it. I don't do gimmicks. So if I don't get big numbers, a lot of people come through, I'm not gonna sweat it. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I just do as I do. I don't go chasing trends and gimmicks. Don't believe in exposing body parts and being vulgar or being. Yeah, it depends on how old you are. I know. I was in my early 20s when OJ verdict went down, and again, I was really young with that whole thing too, because you got to remember he had a whole life. You know, he was. You know, but I went back on him. You know, I went back on him. I knew about his impact back in the day before there was technology and social media. Yeah. Um, yeah, him and Al Collins was his homeboy from the Bay. They weren't just a teammate; they were homeboys. AC, and they both from the Bay. And because I was born in Buffalo, New York, I'll share that. So you kind of couldn't avoid OJ. You really couldn't, especially if you grew up in a place where he was huge. He was loved. He was a rock star there. Well, I don't know. I don't speculate on that. I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't do stuff like that. I'm not no psychic. You just hope and pray that people, when they die, that they die in peace. They don't die in pain. I don't know. We live in a day and time. It ain't. It's about who's gonna get arrested next. Who's gonna be in trouble next. And we don't live in a time where people think about death. They think about who's gonna get broke down. Because believe me, with this whole thing with OJ, yeah, I saw the movie. Christina Ricci. I remember it very well. I remember when that came out because I had somebody recommend it to me. But nowadays, it's all about the people that get locked up or something. It's not about their death. And people are very funny about who they want, how they want, what they want. I don't know. Life is different these days. So. But I remember 30 years ago very well. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about June, which is a couple months from now, thinking about OJ. Some things hit a little bit different for you if you grew up around somebody or you remember certain things. They hit you a little bit different. They hit a little bit different. So it's kind of like how you look at a music artist or you look at an athlete or something or in an actor or something. How you looked at them and how somebody else picks it up, it's completely different. So it's a different era. Al Collins is still alive too, by the way. That was a wild time. Yeah, I remember. I don't want to be indifferent about things because life is too short and you have an opinion and you have a mind and a brain, so you have to use it. I think that's the problem now. People lie all the time and they say they're indifferent, but they really do think things, but they don't know how to put it in perspective. So they end up getting told how they're going to put in perspective. That's why robots and computers and everything have dictated people's mind psyches. So it's a different era and a time. There's nothing wrong with creating opinions. You have a brain, you have a mind, you have thoughts. You know the thing about it is that you will formulate feelings if you um, have conversations about politics. If you have conversations about intimate conversations, family, race, religion, sports, music, science. I don't know that. I don't know what you know. I know one thing: if you read books, it's philosophical. I can't say. I never underestimate nobody. There are times you think people one way and then they can show you something that you couldn't imagine. So I don't. I learned not to underestimate anybody. You see somebody with a hat on and they make a bird come out of it. You put that same hat on your head and the egg cracks on your forehead. You tell me. I don't know. So I just have to tip my cap. There's a lot of people with a lot of talent. Some people are masters of disguises. Some people disguise it in a mask. I don't know what to tell you because this is how we communicate. This is how people ask questions and they have opinions. So it's how you formulate. And you can't zoom all your life and you can't emoji all your life. I don't know. Oh, because people act like they learn them and they just go crazy with them. One of my aunts, for instance, when she learned how to use emojis, it was like it became like a whole language. And it's like, okay, enough already. You know, 55 faces, and you don't even talk no more. It's like you learn a new thing and you lost your natural. She got past that now. Now she's into the AI where they change you into different ethnic backgrounds and stuff and all that mess. And I'm like, oh God. I mean, it's like one extreme to another. You know, I can't with it. I mean, but that's her bag. I do some emoji. I don't do a lot of emoji. I'm not really big into it. I mean, I make some faces, but not much. I ain't really into it. Obsessed with it. And they have conversations with you. If you, there you go. There you go. There you go. Older people in technology and what have you, it's like some kids who first time they see a Playboy Penthouse magazine or something. It's like, it's like, ooh, ooh. And then if they can hide and make that face and think nobody's looking and they all in the centerfold, yeah, it's the same thing. It cracked me up. That's how I would equate it. It really is. The bottom line, people are like big kids no matter how old they are. They really are. I mean, there's part of you that don't want to grow up, but there's another part of you that gotta grow up. But there's just a fine line with certain things. Well, let's be real bit about it. Technology has made older people like kids, like because the kids come along and they know more about it. They know more about it because I didn't even dabble really into computers until like really my 30s, like it was where it became like the norm. So you get a teenager, somebody come along, they didn't have that's all they've known. My life was not built off of computers. Whereas some kid comes along today, that's what they know. That's what they've done. So, you know, and there's nothing I can say about it. You were, well, yeah, because you come from that's the era you come from. And thank you, because you born 99. Well, yeah, that's the era. Yeah, because you grew up in an era where downloading was the norm in music, social media was the norm. You know, you go back 15 years ago, you grew up, you were 10 when Twitter was out, which is X, Facebook, Snapchat, all that, Instagram. It's all been part of your livelihood of your teen. So yeah, yeah. See what I'm? Yeah, and that gap, that 11-year gap, is different. See what I mean? How you push this button? Come over here and no, what this mean? How this mean? What this signal mean? What this mean? It's true. It's true. It's true. But again, all due respect to your grandmother, it's a different era, yo. It's not, when you coming up like that, people laugh and clown, but you gotta remember, come from an era where you had to push buttons and stuff and you just used your fingers. There's a different ball game now. Technology be making people seem dumb. It really do. It really do. Because it's frustrating because you got to remember again. It's like you take it for granted. You whip out your phone and you can press buttons and do your math. Yeah, but it was different. But what they laughed about was them being set in their ways. But the technology thing is a different animal. But I can't really laugh because there's still so much to learn. I really can't. I understand. I understand. Because in my grown up days, the thing is that everything almost changed overnight. So it was like, wow, you know, if you work full time. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it depends on what state you're in, depends how much taxes you got taken out. It's a lot of factors involved, but I don't know about it being 100,000. You have to work 52 hours, 52 weeks. You have to probably bust about 40 hours a week. And I'd say probably about 5 to 10 hours of overtime to make that count. So I don't know about the 100,000. That's a bit much. But when they get through taxing you, it's different. Well, yeah, not knowing, but again, I'm not holding it against her because it does take practice. It's a different way of communicating. And I'll be honest with you, some ways it's better, and yeah, They won't give you them kind of hours. I mean, mm, how much you get taxed though? You gotta remember, there's gross and net. I don't know. They should get 100,000 because they're next to Mexico and they are making profit from two different countries. Well, old heads make fun of modern sports because they had to travel by I flight and they didn't have the workout equipment. And they also didn't have the kind of blatant commissioning that's trying to make everybody feel welcome. That's another thing. That's the reason why old heads are fun because the money's different. The money is what makes the difference. And also what you had to do. I don't go to bars, so I don't know. I hate to say it. I don't go out. Tell you pandemic life and I wasn't going out before. And even when I was clubbing, I never really did the bar thing. I was still on the dance floor. Didn't do no tabs and didn't really sit over there. People always got something to say. No, they just grouch about stuff. That's all. They be acting like Ken and Karen. Yeah, that's more like it, unless of course you work on overtime. And if you work overtime, it might bump you to 40 to 43. Depends on what kind of situation you got. But you gotta bust your butt a lot. And it's not really like that. And it's still under the radar because by the time they raise the wage up, they're still about $5 under the pool date. So there's not much in there. Just older. That's kind of a bit much. I gotta think how I'm gonna word that. Jealous older siblings just don't like to have to share nothing. They think that the younger ones are spoiled and they feel that they get treated different. And there's truth to that. There's truth to that. There's truth to that. There's truth to that. Since I've actually known the youngest ones to get treated better because the parents were more flush financially. There wasn't as much struggle. Sometimes the young ones got the benefit. Depends. No, no, you don't make no 100 grand. You can make money in fast food, but you got to be in upper management, and there's a lot of power and tricks. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of politics. If you get to upper management where you get to run overseas, um, where you're overseeing other stores in the areas, and then you become like a district manager or something like that, you might start making some bag, and then they put that into like a trust fund, and then they put that into offshoot for you so you can invest. But as far as getting that kind of bag, no. They should though. They should. because they got to do a lot of work, and it's a lot of. You have to make sure that you pass all these backgrounds. You have to make sure that there's a lot of things. Okay, am I back? Let me know. Okay, I think we just experienced some technical difficulties. Let me know if you can see what I'm saying. Sometimes I do experience these glitches. So it's, you know, apologize in advance. It's the technology. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, cool. Yeah. I got about another half hour before I will call it a night. I'm gonna be here for 30 more minutes. So, cause I don't want to, good. So I got another half hour. So let's make it count. Hopefully let me get through. And I promise I'll come back stronger than 30 more minutes tonight for sure. And Ted, appreciate you letting me know about Russell Wilson thing. I'm gonna definitely check that out. I got a lot to deal with that statement. I can't believe he said that. That's some delusions of grandeur. He might have a moment. He might have a moment. I always look forward to him at this time of the year. You know, it's never gonna be like it was, but I was excited in 2019 when he won. Well, he better acknowledge the ones before him, because Lord knows, you know, I mean, he was good for his era, but it's not like, let me be real with you. He okay. Well, what is yeah. Shannon right now is on a different high right now. I expect Shannon. I know I watched the show sometime with Ocho, but after having Cat Williams on, you can't tell him nothing. You can't tell him his teeth ain't clean. Russell Westbrook or Russell Wilson? Do tell. Oh, Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. If he's just talking about the Clippers, or is he talking about in general? I No, he's not the best. He's tripping. He ain't the best. No, no. Mm. And look, I give him his due. He got him a second win with the Clippers when nobody else was touching him, because after LeBron and AD and all them was making the stank face about him with the Lakers, I give him coming back, but he is tripping with that. I mean, no one takes Russell that seriously. Yeah, sometimes he do be full of it. I mean, he's doing good. Don't get it twisted. But let's not act like he's on some Ginobili tip. Let's not act like, you know, he kind of had no choice because he burned his bridges. No one was gonna bring him as a starter, so he kind of is where he's at. I mean, well, I'm not worried about it because I don't have no root and cry for the Clippers. No way. I think they could be dangerous, but I don't know. Well, we're not talking about him being the greatest six man. We're talking about what he's saying today. No one said about no greatest six man ever. We're just talking about what he's saying as far as coming off the bench in the league today. He ain't talking about 2014, 2004, 94, 84. He's talking about 2024, which he ain't. And he sure as heck ain't one of them guys for back then either. But, he fits in good with the Clippers. I'll give him his due far as that go. As long as he don't talk like a crackhead. I ain't feel bad for him. He just burned his bridges. When when the thing with OKC didn't work and he got mad with Durant because Durant went to Golden State and got them rings, you know, he lost he got an MVP, but he lost the battle as leading the team. That's just the fact. So, but I don't feel bad for him though. How am I gonna feel bad for a guy that's been starting and been playing forever in the day? He's straight. I don't feel bad for Clay. Clay got old. Clay got hurt. Clay was in delusion that, you got to remember when you're a shooter, it's all about groove. He ain't either, and he won't. That's why he's going to be doing play-in tournament. He had it so good in Golden State. I felt bad that he got sucker punched. That was a assault. But as far as the way he plays, I feel bad for having to watch it. I feel bad for people to actually watch it. Because if you suck so bad that you can't even start for Washington and their fans are booing you, and they ain't but like about 800 of them in there, because nobody in their right mind wants to go see the Wizards play. So I feel bad for them ticket holders. They should get half their money back. I mean, come on now. He sucks there. Oh, it's brutal. It is brutal. It is brutal. I mean, they got the same record as the Pistons for crying out loud. And at least in Washington's case, you got Jordan Poole and and uh uh because I'm talking about uh Kuzma. Yeah, you got Kuzma. They should accountable between them two. That should be 25, 30 wins. You can't be that Rudy Pooty. That's embarrassing. They stealing money. They worse than Joe Biden and Trump. They should be politicians stealing that money, sucking that bad. Embarrassing. Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole combined can't get you 25, 30 wins. They stealing money. So I feel bad for the people that's got to pay their money to go see that garbage. That is garbage too. Nobody should be that horrible in the NBA. Nobody. Nobody. It's gotten quiet again. Anyway, watch out for Bronny with what? Bronny what? What you mean watch out? And do what? Watch out for what? What you mean? Because unless he can get some of that the juice, he gonna be sitting in college for another year or two, easily, if they let him out. Watch out for Bronny. He's not coming to the NBA no time soon. That would be embarrassing. Just messing with Icy Spice or Stanky Spice or Flunky Spice or Floppy Spice that messed his skin, whatever. He was alright. But you got to remember, these guys can actually shoot and score points. They've actually put numbers up. Bronny James is in a situation. I don't even think if he could play Nerf ball in his back in his house, he'll score 20 points. Oh yeah, well, it's because of his daddy. That's what's up. It's an agenda. And I will tell you a story. 15, 20 years ago, he would have came out. You gotta shoot the three. You gotta shoot the three. Ted nailed it. That's it. I don't care if you're 7'9", 6'9", 5'9". You gotta shoot the three. If you can't knock that three ball with regularity, they got no use for you. Ted asks me every time we do a live stream, he always out, and they kind of know I get on a pet peeve with him because he's always talking about role players. I said, well, that was a lifetime ago. There are no more role players. Everybody got to shoot a three. Everybody got to shoot the three. The cousin, the uncle, the brother, the daddy, grandpa. Everybody got to shoot the three. Godfather. If you don't know how to shoot a three in today's NBA, Adam Silver has no use for you. That's what's up. So, you know, they making this agenda that you're better and skilled and, you're this and you're that, but. No, he's making money. No, it's he's not embarrassing himself because it's not like he can't shoot a little bit. It's just that he's not NBA level. I'm not gonna sit here and say he ain't got a little something, but he's got too many strikes against him. His health is one thing, which is most important, but his game hasn't developed quite to that. But also, he's got that last name, and I'm sorry, that ego, uh, that ego is huge, yo. And then you daddy, and there's a 3-point agenda, and there's also, I mean, and to see again, it goes to who he would get drafted by, who he would play with, who his coach would be. It's so much. I know what his average is. I know what his average is. He do got a mushroom head though. I know what his average is, but it's, you know, takes work. And he have to be an offensive force these days. And I don't think that, you know, like I said, another year, another time, he would have been drafted and been sent on the ride on the pine for about 3 or 4 years. They don't do that no more. They used to. He sat on the pine with Portland's bench for a couple years before he got going. They got some kind of many agendas. It's not even funny. A lot of them. But they're not that fruity because Dwight would have a job. Well, let me tell you a story. If you look at movies in Hollywood, a lot is given. Okay. People get hooked up all the time. It's a matter, can you make it work? It's a job at the end of the day. Can you do it? So if you do get hooked up, he's so you know you know and I just look at it for what it is because it's a lot go on. So You know, you know. I mean, to sit there and say like, you know, not necessarily, not necessarily, because if they find a way to get him in, and he gets with a team that can manipulate and put him in. I mean, would you look at the Balls brothers as a bad for business? The daddy pimped it and got two sons in the NBA. Is that bad for business? Yes or no? I don't care what you think about LaMelo, Alonzo. They both played at a high level. That's all you can ever do. Can't say he's a liability if he gets picked up by another college and he turns out and make a profit. Can't say he is. That's not why he didn't get top 75, and you know it. Okay. Well, explain yourself, because you remember you told me earlier that you're not intellectual and you don't like a lot of opinions, but now you're coming at me at a different angle about this kid. So you got to make up your mind. See, because I heard you say one thing, but you got a strong context about him. It is about money. Let me let you in a little enlightenment. Your last name is James. Can you make us money? We'll worry about wins later. Okay. But we'll worry about wins later. Bottom line is if Bronny James can come in and be profitable, they'll figure out something for him. They did for his daddy, even though his daddy was far better, but still came down to can he make us money? Then we can worry about the wins later. And yeah, Ted, he should be, but you know why he's not. And it ain't got nothing to do with basketball. It's got something to do with ball, but it ain't got nothing to do with basketball. And it ain't got nothing to do with him not having a bag either. You already know. He's not quite part of Adam Silver's agenda. There's an agenda, but he ain't quite part of it. He kind of thuggy ruggy too. So I got a lot of stories about old Dwight. Checking everything. Okay, just looking. Listen, if they want to make him play, they'll make him play. If they don't want him to play, he won't play. That's the bottom line. So if the kid can show any kind of motion, and you have to look at it from a business perspective. It comes down to money. Again, if he shows he's halfway good, they'll get him in. I'm a firm believer, and it can be conspiratory, and I don't care if you agree or not. I believe that if he was worthy of coming to the NBA, the Knicks might make a move or somebody like that. And I think LeBron would make a move. As I told Ted, we did a stream some time ago about LeBron talking about the Knicks. Got me thinking. Adam Silver's in on it. So LeBron goes to New York. They buy James Dolan out. That's a flip. The other flip I see is maybe Las Vegas with Shaq and LeBron or something, and they get the kid on, they get an expansion team. That's what I'm thinking. There's some flips. But you see, I think outside the box. I see this thing where it could be in different possibilities. I don't see it just for one thing. Don't give him no ideas. Don't give him no ideas. Please don't. Because he crazy enough to sign a 10-day with Denver, Dallas. I don't like it here. I mean, don't give him no ideas. He crazy enough to do something like that too. That's the sad part. He would probably do something like that if he could. I mean, he know he ain't gonna win with AD. Not legally. Not legally. Because without the refs helping them out, they don't play no defense. They don't guard the three. They're not the best shooting team. And when they're in a game where there's even balance of free throws, they're not winning. That's just a fact. They don't win too many games unless they free throw dominant. So, and AD is not that dude. AD puts up good numbers and he can be a stat pattern, but he don't translate to wins. So, but I don't know. You can tell me. Oh, excuse me. See what I got. All right. Come on now, somebody say something, cause I got 10 more minutes, so make it count. The Godfather, 1 and 2. Cooley High, Which Way Is Up. Sentimental to Let's Do It Again. Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing. Boys in the Hood, Minister Society. Ray. E.T. Star Wars. Terms of Endearment. Saturday Night Fever. Grease. Scarface. Goodfellas. Well, Godfather movies is my favorite. I thought it was the first two were just incredible. Taxi Driver's another one. Um, what else did I like? When Harry Met Sally. Analyze This. What else did I like? Napoleon Dynamite. I like that movie a lot. Um, I like RoboCop, the first one. Jaws. What's one made you laugh? I mean, like when I come to movies, I'm across different styles because it just depends on my mood. I don't care. Um, well, yeah, I mean, like The Birds with Alfred Hitchcock. I like that one a lot. I like Casablanca too. Carmen Jones. I like that a lot. Um, well, I loved it when he danced and stuff. I really did. I like that movie a lot. Like that one a lot. They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. To Serve with Love. I like that a lot. I really did. Napoleon was one of the movies I got into. Yeah, I was into a lot of movies. And there's some I'm not thinking of right now. I like Big with Tom Hanks back in the day. Um, Wall Street, because that's Donald Trump era there. Fatal Attraction. Uh, One of my favorites that I like, but it's My Cousin Vinny. I like that one a lot. I'll always watch that movie. Shawshank. Yep, yep. Love the Shawshank Redemption because get rich, get busy, living or die. Green Mile, I watched it. I wasn't blown away, but I watched. I liked it. Goodwill Hunting, I watched it more so at the time. More so at the time. Um, Speed, I like Speed a lot back in the day. I used the references. I wasn't blown away with the movie, but I used the. I got a funny story. Buddy of mine, loved the Lion King. That's one of my favorites because I had a Burger King Lion King cup and I used to drink that thing like crazy. Loved it. I used to go Makuna Matata. Loved it. Forrest Gump. A buddy of mine. I kid you not, talked just like Bubba. And I thought when I saw Forrest Gump, I said that's my buddy up there. I was cracking up when I saw it. Like Jackie Brown too. Dirty Dancing. I like that. Cars. I like Cars. Rocky. I'd say Rocky and 1 through 3. I like them, especially the first one. And when he fought Mr. T. Yo, Adrian, Adrian, where you go, Rocky? Adrian. I like that back in the day. Um, 40 years ago, I want to say I loved uh Spinal Tap. That was about the music industry and the fakery. Love that movie because that was about the industry. Spinal Tap. Oh yeah, well, because I watched a lot of movies. That's the thing. If you didn't know me, you think I love movies and music more than sports. They're like because I can quote names and places, but it's a lot. I watched a lot. As a kid, I loved the fish that saved Pittsburgh. I like that even better than I did Space Jam. I just happened to like, I believe I could fly more for as a song, but the fish that saved Pittsburgh with Dr. J, I like that movie a lot. Cornbread Earl and Me, back when Lawrence Fishburne was a kid. Of course, The Matrix. Let one man forget. One of my favorite movies. I like Disney. Amadeus was cool. I watched all that. I watched all that. You gotta remember something. I mean, I was a kid. I watched all that stuff. You know, Free Willy. I like the first one. I was into a lot of different movies. I ain't a lot of movies. A Lady Sings the Blues. But I like that one a lot. Officer and a Gentleman. Soldier Story. Watched a whole lot of movies. Yeah. I've heard a lot about it. I just haven't really, some things I don't mess with. Love really got into. I used to watch those movies. Well, Dexter was one of my favorite shows. Dallas when I was a kid. We talking drama or TV. Dallas was one of my favorite. The Sopranos was cool. The Wire was cool. Breaking Bad was alright. I wasn't big on it. It was alright. Um, Doug Dexter a lot. Used to watch a lot of soaps back in the day. Dynasty. And then I liked a lot of sitcoms. Obviously, Sanford and Son's my favorite. Yeah, I like the first 3.5 seasons, first four. Then it just got corny after that. But the first four was the truth. I had the book too. I really liked it. Um, there was different shows I liked. I like um The one that was I can't think of right now on HBO. The guy was the bigamist and he had all the wives. Yeah, I could too. I watched a lot of TV growing up, but Sanford Son's my favorite comedy ever. I love the Jeffersons and I love Good Times and I love What's Happening. All the black shows I watched back in the day. All in the Family was classic. Watched all that stuff. Watched Leave It to Beaver. Watched I Love Lucy. Carol Burnett Show. Three's Company. Love Boat. Barney Miller. All that stuff. I could watch that with anybody and by myself. Love that show. It's my all-time favorite show. Then if I Red Fox. So yeah. Okay. I think I'm about call it a night now because I've been doing this and I'll make sure everything is cool. So I got everybody, appreciate everybody that came through. I will make it longer tomorrow because I had gotten off to a late start. Um, yeah, I watch cartoons too. I was a big Hanna-Barbera fan. Watched everything with the Roadrunner and used to watch Penelope Pitstop and Hanna-Barbera and all that. I used to love watching the Yogi Bear, all that crew. Big time. Jimmy Neutron too. Yeah, I'm about ready to roll. It's about 10. But the questions got good, and I appreciate you asking because you definitely turn up the heat when we went into some good topics, and I appreciate that. That made the night. So yep. Couldn't stand SpongeBob. Still can't. But that's a real battle here in these streets. Are you SpongeBob or are you Jimmy Neutron? That's a real that's some people really do get heated about that. And Pokemon and all that too. So yeah, I'm glad you came through. Like I said, I'll be back longer tomorrow. I got to take care of a few things, but I'll definitely come on out early tomorrow because I think that'll work out. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like, but I'm gonna come on early tomorrow anyway. So, and used to watch was it After School? One of them school. One of them was good. Used to watch all that stuff back then. So, Blues Clues too was cool too. Yeah, Recess. That's the one I like. That was cool too. All right now, but anyway, appreciate you coming through. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay blessed. And thank you again for all the questions. And we're gonna definitely do more tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Peace. The best. I'm out.